So obviously, as any person has, I've made a ton of mistakes throughout my software engineering career. I don't really regret anything I did because it's all part of a process to learn from your mistakes. But in the past, I always wanted someone who was older than me, who had been through this process before, and could tell me all their mistakes so that I could avoid them myself. So at least if I still made them, it would all be on me and not because of my lack of knowledge. So one of the biggest and most time-consuming, most stressful things a software engineer can do is switch jobs. It involves studying for interviews, looking for interviews, scheduling interviews, taking time off from work, negotiating your salary, all while trying to make time for your 9-to-5 job. So switching companies takes a lot of time and energy. Given that, not properly vetting companies was one of my biggest mistakes. So at every step of the way when I was searching for new companies, I never had the greatest leverage. When I was coming out of college, looking for my first job, I was ready to take literally anything. And scenarios like this really put you in a vulnerable spot when it comes to accepting a job offer, because you might take a job offer from a company you really don't want to work at. Obviously though, if you're a college student that just needs a job, then you likely have no choice. But if you do have a choice, you want to make sure your decision is the right decision. When I was ready to move to my second company, I did one interview with an engineering manager and they were ready to move forward with an offer. I thought it was really weird because I didn't really get to meet the team that much. And most importantly, I didn't have any questions prepared to ask the company so that I could vet their processes myself. But for me, I had always had it ingrained in me that I had no choice and that any company that would want me, I would be lucky to have them. But that is not true at all. Know your worth. Trust in your skills and trust that you're not being unreasonable by asking tough questions to the companies that you are being interviewed for. Questions about their work-life balance, their deadlines, etc. This is especially apparent if you're coming right out of school, because a lot of companies know that these people don't have that much workplace experience. They're probably not that well versed in workplace politics. They're not great negotiators. So if you accept that offer from the wrong company, they will not hesitate to exploit you. This is not to talk down on literally all the companies in the world, but you just need to make sure that you are looking out for yourself first. These are questions you need to bring to the table when the company asks, "So, do you have any questions for us?" Ignoring a bad feeling. Sometimes I would get a bad feeling from someone that interviewed me, but I would always tell myself that I was thinking too much and that I was judging people too harshly. But remember, if you make the decision to join a company, you are going to have to stick by this decision for some time. If you have a bad feeling about someone you meet at an interview, it's likely that your feeling will stick around. Don't ignore your feelings. Make sure to ask questions to make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. Not saying no. This is an elaboration on being exploited if you're not careful. When you come out of college, you are most easily exploited. You're young and full of energy, you're not married, you don't have kids, and companies know this. And the bad ones will take advantage of it. This is not to say to not work hard in your job. If you want to be promoted, if you want quick raises, then by all means, work hard for sure. But do not be exploited into thinking that working free overtime constantly is the norm. It should never be the norm or the baseline. But I get it though, I was there. When I came out of college, I had no choice. I had to take whatever job that fell into my lap, and I had to work as hard as I could. But what I am saying is, do not let this be a long-term thing where you are being constantly screwed and exploited by your employer. Being pressured into agreeing to unrealistic deadlines and having you stay in the office until 9 p.m. to finish these deadlines, being pressured to cancel your vacations, being pressured to work weekends. And a lot of the times, it's not really the managers that are like puffing their chest and putting a gun to your head that are exploiting you. Most of the time, influence at the workplace happens in a very subtle way, in a way that makes you feel like the extra work, that was your idea. Imagine this scenario. It's a Friday at 6 p.m. Hey Kevin, this thing just came up. Do you mind taking a look? Sure, I'll take a look. Thanks. And now you're stuck with it over the weekend. Do not let people take advantage of you with influence tricks. These are things that I would have wanted someone older than me to tell me about their own experience so that I could potentially avoid these mistakes.